Hey everyone, did you know that over 90% of you watching right now haven't hit that subscribe button? If you enjoy our content, take a second to subscribe. It's free and it really helps us keep bringing you great stories every day. She thought I'd cry when she left me for the man next door. Instead, I smiled. I'd already turned her lies into evidence. She thought it was over. For me, it was just beginning. She betrayed the wrong man. The sound of sizzling bacon should have made that Saturday morning feel comforting, normal even. But nothing about that day felt normal. Not the way the sun hit the kitchen tiles, like a spotlight on a crime scene. Not the way Madison sat across from me, casually scrolling through her phone, legs crossed like everything was fine. She was humming. Humming. I sat with a mug of coffee clenched in both hands, steam curling upward into my face as my stomach twisted. "Morning," she said, without looking up. Her tone was too upbeat for someone who had been distant for weeks. I noticed she was already dressed. Fitted jeans, a black blouse, soft curls in her hair, lip gloss, subtle perfume. That wasn't a stay-at-home Saturday look. I nodded, choosing silence over suspicion. Then she dropped it casually like she was ordering takeout. "I think we need some space this weekend. I'm going on a little getaway." I paused mid-sip, slowly lowering the mug. "With your sister?" I asked, keeping my tone light. I already knew the answer, but I needed to hear her say it. She smirked, not her usual smile, the kind that used to light up a room. This one was colder. "Not exactly," I stared at her. "With who?" Then she finally met my eyes. Her phone slipped in her purse like she was done pretending. "Troy," she said, her voice almost too calm. "Troy. The guy who borrowed my wrench last week. The neighbor who brought beer over every Sunday. The man I trusted around my family." She said it like it was a weather report. "My new AP," she added with a slight shrug. I blinked. My chest felt tight. "So this is honesty?" I asked quietly. She slid on her sunglasses, her overnight bag already packed by the door. "You'll adjust. You always do," she said, walking toward it. I watched her go. No tears in my eyes, no words left to say. But as her hand reached the door, I spoke quietly, clearly. "I'm going to destroy both of you." She turned slightly, smirking again. "You always were dramatic, Ryan. That's why I needed someone fun for once." She walked out. That was the last time she smiled at me. What she didn't know was that I had already started gathering the matches because I had known for weeks. It started with late-night texts she hid under her pillow, then the change in her laugh, the way it rang differently when she was texting someone else, the scent of cologne that wasn't mine on her scarf, the way she started using vague words like book club and girls' weekend, with a rehearsed look in her eyes. "I'm not stupid. I'm just patient." I synced our shared iCloud account. She never realized it. Every photo, every note, every accidental hotel confirmation forwarded straight to me. The Venmo payments, dinner, wine, laughs, room 304. Face blowing a kiss. Cute. I placed a voice recorder in the laundry room. She took most of her calls there. I installed a new memory card in the front door camera, and the old backyard one she thought stopped working. I kept a journal, collected timestamps. I wasn't angry, not then. I was methodical. I created a folder on my desktop called Operation Eclipse. It held screenshots of texts, receipts, hotel bookings, and explicit messages she sent to Troy, where she called me a doormat with a bank account. There were recordings, too. One from 3 nights ago. Ryan's too dull to even notice. "You made me feel alive." I noticed. She thought I'd break, but I bent quietly, calculatingly. What she didn't realize was some men crumble when cheated on, others build war rooms. And I was building one in the next room. My laptop screen flickered as I opened a legal contact form. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't even going to confront her. I was going to burn every part of her secret life to the ground, with receipts. And when I was done, she'd wish she'd never underestimated me. The next 48 hours were quiet, but that was by design. Madison didn't text, didn't call, not even a check-in to ask about the dog. That was fine. I didn't want contact. I wanted data. I moved like a ghost through the house, each step calculated. I transferred backup copies of the evidence to two separate drives, one stored in the safe, the other in a password-protected cloud folder labeled Tax Documents 2021. Nobody ever clicks on tax files, and she certainly wouldn't look there. Then I called her phone carrier and removed her from the family plan. At 2 a.m. that night, I was still up, scrolling through more cloud uploads synced from her phone. And then I found it. An audio recording she must have made by accident. 10 minutes of her giggling with Troy in the cabin. "You think he suspects anything?" Troy's voice, deep and arrogant. "Nah, Ryan wouldn't dare confront me," she said. "He's passive, always. Has been. If he finds out, I'll just cry. He folds every time I cry." That one did something to me. It didn't just hurt. It rewired something in me. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I created a spreadsheet titled Consequences. Target 1. Troy Baxter. Troy worked in sales at a boutique wellness brand that targeted high-income clients. He ran around town calling himself a holistic healing advocate. But what he really did was sell overpriced supplements and flirt with bored housewives. Madison wasn't the first. I knew he used our Wi-Fi often when he visited. He even asked for the guest password months ago, claiming he needed to check email real quick. What he didn't know was that I monitored all incoming traffic through a network analyzer. I never disabled it, just in case. Bingo. His device name still popped up every Thursday. More importantly, his login history on one of my devices led me to a hidden Dropbox folder labeled Wellness and IP Private. Inside, appointment logs, signed NDAs, photos of clients, and a few videos I wish I could unsee. Massage sessions right there. With this, I could ruin him professionally, but that wasn't enough. I needed personal fallout too. Target 2. Madison Carter. Madison had been coasting through life behind the image of the polished suburban wife, PDA meetings, curated Instagram posts, yoga brunches. I knew every pixel of the illusion. What people didn't know? She had used my credit card for that cabin getaway. She had lied to her employer, a private academy that demanded loyalty clauses from staff. She even had the audacity to list Troy under her emergency contact recently, while still married to me. So I sent anonymous packets of screenshots to her HR department. Her text to Troy: "God, I hate pretending at work. Can't wait until I leave Ryan and stop playing perfect for everyone." Her expense report from the weekend, billed as a professional development retreat, attached photos of her in lingerie on the cabin balcony, wine in hand, all timestamped. This story is just getting started and the best is yet to come. Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch every shocking moment of this tale. Trust me, the climax will leave you speechless. I printed her credit card statements and mailed them to her father, a retired judge, and her mother, a devout Christian who still sent us Bible verses in group chats. No context, just highlights, and a sticky note that said she might want to explain this on Sunday evening. I got a text from Madison's younger sister. "Hey, are you okay? Mom is freaking out and there's some weird stuff going around at her job. Just, are you safe?" I didn't respond. I was focused on phase 3, freeze, cut, reclaim. By Monday, my lawyer had served the papers. Madison received a note from me at work during lunch break. I had legally frozen the joint accounts, repossessed the car she was driving, still registered under my name, and deactivated all shared cards. When they tried to check out of the cabin, her car declined in front of other guests. I tipped the hotel manager well to send me the security footage. Watching her, red-faced in the lobby as Troy argued with the concierge, priceless. She had chosen chaos, but now she was beginning to understand what methodical chaos looked like. Still, I wasn't done. They thought they'd won, that I'd fade quietly like a wounded man licking his pride. I wasn't going to yell or scream. I was going to humiliate them so publicly, so precisely, they'd beg to disappear. And the best part? They'd never see it coming. 2 weeks passed. I didn't hear from Madison during the first week. But by day 10, the cracks began to show. She messaged once, "Ryan, we need to talk. This has gone too far." Please, I'd left it on red. Then another message. "You've made your point. Can we just talk like adults? Still no reply. She was unraveling, and I was just getting started. You see, revenge isn't rage, it's strategy, and my next move was going to leave a scar so deep no lie could cover it. I crafted a message, delicate, thoughtful, poetic in its cruelty, and I sent it using her email. Subject: a night of forgiveness, honesty, and fresh starts. Message: dear friends and family, Madison and I have been doing a lot of soul searching and healing these past few weeks. After many open-hearted conversations, we've decided to host a small gathering to reconnect with those closest to us. This evening will be about truth, healing, and moving forward. Please join us this Saturday for a reconciliation dinner, where we open our hearts and share honestly with those we love. We'd be honored by your presence. Warm regards, Madison and Ryan. I RSVP'd on her behalf. The guest list included Madison's parents and younger sister, her employer and direct supervisor, her closest friends, including 2 from her yoga circle, Troy's manager from the wellness firm, a handful of mutual friends from our neighborhood, and my old army. Buddy Logan, the most grounded command I knew. I trusted him to keep a level head if things escalated. I booked a private chef, decorated the dining room with string lights and candles, soft jazz playing in the background. Everything looked picture perfect, just like the filtered life Madison pretended to have online. At 7:03 p.m., the doorbell rang. Madison stepped inside first, red dress, flawless makeup, surprised expression. She scanned the room and froze when she recognized the guests behind her. Troy walked in wearing a black button-down and khakis, like this was just a friendly cookout. She leaned toward me and whispered, "You actually invited all these people?" I smiled and nodded. "It's a special night, Maddie. We got something to share." Dinner was polite, almost warm. Conversations meandered, travel, work, random updates. Madison played along perfectly. She laughed. She touched my arm when she spoke. She thanked guests for coming, but I saw the nervous twitch in her left hand. She knew something was coming. Then dessert arrived, cheesecake, wine. I stood up. "Before we end this beautiful night," I said, raising my glass, "Madison and I wanted to share something honest." Her face shifted, her smile cracked. I picked up the remote on the table and pointed to the 65-inch TV mounted on the wall behind me. Click. First slide. A selfie of Madison and Troy at the cabin, time-stamped 9:24 p.m., the same night she said she was with her sister. Click. Second slide. A screenshot of a text from Madison to Troy. "Ryan is like a dead fish in bed, but you..." Gasps filled the room. Her friend Claire choked on her wine. Her father blinked slowly. Her mother's face went pale. Click. A short clip of Troy entering his massage suite with 2 different women, 45 minutes apart. No NDAs, no professionalism, just blurred footage and damning time codes. Click. Audio. Madison's voice clear as a bell. "If he finds out, I'll cry and say he scared me. He always folds when I cry." The room exploded. Her boss stood up instantly. "Madison, you told us Ryan was emotionally abusive, but he stalked you?" Claire shouted from across the table. "Is that why you asked me to lie to his lawyer?" "You said he was cheating?" Madison was frozen, eyes wide, lips trembling. Troy reached for the remote before his fingers got close. Logan stepped forward from the wall like a silent shadow. "Sit down," he said calmly. Troy sat, and I wasn't done. Click. A final video played. Madison on a recorded call with a friend. "I'm using him until I get that house in my name. Then I'll say he had anger issues and cry in court." Silence. The air thickened. Then Madison's father, Judge Raymond Carter, stood. He didn't speak. He simply turned, took his wife's hand, and walked out. Her sister followed. Her boss pulled out a phone and walked onto the porch, likely to HR. One by one, guests filtered out. Nobody said goodbye to her. Troy stared at the floor. "And me?" I turned to Madison. "You said, 'I always fold when you cry.'" I said softly, leaning just close enough for only her to hear. "You were right." Then I straightened up, set down the remote, and walked to the door. But this time, Maddie, I watched you cry while I stood still. You won't believe how this ends. Are you hooked yet? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is just the beginning. Stay with me for the final part of this incredible story. The morning after the dinner, silence echoed louder than any fight we'd ever had. I walked through the house alone, past the dining room where guests had gasped, past the living room where Madison once decorated for Christmas, past the hallway where Troy used to knock like a friendly neighbor. The air still held a faint trace of her perfume. Sweet, hollow. I opened our bedroom closet, half-empty hangers. One of her dresses still clung to the corner, forgotten. On the entry table sat a pair of Troy's sunglasses. He must have dropped them during the chaos last night. Everything looked like a crime scene, quiet, untouched, and already decaying. My phone buzzed. Madison, please let me explain. You destroyed my life. I made a mistake. We can fix this. No, Madison, you didn't make a mistake. You made a series of calculated choices, and now you're just facing the math. Her messages came in bursts, one apologetic, the next angry, then panicked. She started emailing mutual friends, spinning her new story that I had set her up, that I was a controlling narcissist who planned everything to hurt her. But the problem with spinning lies when the truth has receded is that it spreads faster than you can control. Her boss emailed later that afternoon. She had been placed on immediate leave pending an investigation into moral breach and workplace misconduct. Her access to the school system was revoked. They changed the locks. Her book club disbanded. Her Instagram comments filled with shock, questions, and one brutal message from a student's parent. You pretended to care about values. Shame. She posted nothing for days after that, just deleted every photo of Troy and turned her profile private. But it was too late. Her parents hadn't spoken a word since the dinner. Her father, the judge, refused her calls. Her mother blocked her entirely. Troy? His employer launched a quiet but thorough internal investigation. Apparently his wellness appointments were already on their radar, but the video I leaked to his supervisor sealed the deal. He resigned the next day, not because they asked, but because the pressure became too much. The whispers, the stares. A week later, I heard he moved back in with his older brother, 2 towns over. No car, no job, his side hustle dead, his reputation tainted beyond repair. And me? I finalized the divorce papers. No alimony, no shared assets. I kept the house, the savings, and the car. She tried to take my lawyer. Maggie told me it was one of the cleanest splits she'd ever negotiated. She had nothing left to bargain with. She had handed me a full arsenal, and I didn't gloat. I didn't post anything. I didn't call her out online. I didn't need to. The damage had been done with precision. It was the kind of revenge that didn't roar. It whispered, and it stayed. Weeks passed. The house was quiet, finally, but not hollow anymore. Just still. The kind of stillness that doesn't ache. I spent my evenings rebuilding the old guest shed in the backyard, something I'd been meaning to do for years. Logan came by on weekends to help. We replaced the old wood panels, installed a bench press, added a punching bag. Slowly, we turned it into a personal gym. Therapy came in unexpected forms, not just the punching bag or the splintered wood in my palms, but in the silence. The silence that wasn't forced or cold, just honest. Madison still tried to reach out, not every day now, but often enough. She sent long emails. I lost everything. My job, my family. I didn't know it would go this far. Troy's gone. I don't even talk to him anymore. Please, I'm not the person I was. We could try again. Just can we go back to who we used to be? I never responded. Not because I hated her, but because I didn't owe her healing after what she tried to destroy. She didn't just betray me, she weaponized me. She was ready to lie under oath. She painted me as a monster. And if I hadn't collected the proof, she might have gotten away with it. No, I wasn't interested in rewinding anything. One evening, Logan and I sat on the porch. I handed him a beer and he nodded toward the house. You going to sell it? He asked. I shook my head. I earned this house twice. Once when I bought it, and again when I fought for it. He smirked. Fair. A week later, I met someone. Not in some dramatic fireworks way, just a small interaction at a bookstore downtown. Her name was Elise. She was quiet but witty. Asked her questions, wore old sneakers, and a broken watch she refused to replace. I told her about my love for restoring old furniture. She told me about her dad's failing garage business and how she helped him every Sunday. She never asked about Madison, and I didn't volunteer much. But one day she noticed a scar on my hand from the rebuild. Looks like something broke, she said softly, touching it. Yeah, I replied, but I learned how to fix it. We didn't rush anything, we just let it unfold like something real. Something earned. Months later, I saw Madison at a grocery store. She looked tired, makeup-free. Her once confident strut was now replaced by cautious, quiet steps. She didn't approach, just froze near the frozen foods, watching me laugh with Elise. I nodded once out of respect, not warmth. She didn't smile back. Her eyes glistened, but she looked away. And that was it. That was the end. She once said, I always fold when you cry. But this time she cried alone. And I walked out with peace. The kind you don't fight for, the kind you build with your own hands. If you enjoyed this story, hit the like button, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Stories like these deserve to be shared, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.